Lebanon's caretaker prime minister has accused Israel of deliberately attacking media personnel in an attack in the south of Lebanon. That's after the health ministry said an Israeli airstrike killed 3 media workers in the southeast of Lebanon. Early Friday morning, Israeli military planes hit a building housing journalists in Hasbaya near the Syrian border. The pro-Iran Lebanese channel Al-Mayadeen says a cameraman and broadcast engineer are among the 3 killed. Another broadcaster, Al-Mana, which is run by the Iran-backed group Hezbollah, says one of its photographers also died in the attack. Israel has not commented on the strike. Journalist Karim El-Gawhary is standing by for us. Karim, at least 3 media workers killed in an Israeli airstrike. What more do we know?
Yeah, it all happened early in the morning when our colleagues were basically sleeping there. This is 3 of them, 3 media workers, were killed. It's a very well-known place for journalists. It's altogether there were like 18 journalists at this location representing 7 different TV stations, among them also the English and Arabic-speaking station Al-Jazeera. This village, Hasbaya, is a village that's predominantly, it's a mixed village of Druze, Christians and Muslims, and it was considered safe. This is why the journalists were there. It's close to the areas that where the fighting is happening and that are attacked by Israel, but this particular village was considered safe. There was no evacuation order or any warning from the Israeli side. So I think what is clear is that Israel must have had a clear knowledge that there are journalists since weeks, basically. They are going live on this spot in the various Arabic and even English TV stations. There were like cars in the village clearly marked with TV signs. The Lebanese Minister of Information basically called this morning a war crime. But in any case, it was a message to the journalists to leave this area, which I think they did by now. And that means also that this area, which is also where a lot of this fighting is happening, which is also part of the Israeli ground incursion, that this area now became basically a blind spot for all media.
And a deadly message at that. Israel continues to hit targets across Lebanon and on a border crossing in Syria as well. Can you give us the latest?
Yeah, that was a strike against a crossing in the northern Bekaa Valley that makes now this crossing, people cannot pass from there. And that means basically we have 3 crossings by land where you can leave Lebanon. 2 of them you're not able to pass now. One of them was Al-Masna, which was hit already some weeks ago. Now this is the second one. That leaves really only one border station where you can cross via land and leave Lebanon, and that is in the north near the city of Tripolis. You need to know that many people from here escaped towards Lebanon. The UN is estimating that 430,000 people left Lebanon towards Syria in the last weeks to go to safety, and also many to find some places while they're displaced that are more affordable than places in Lebanon. So this is becoming now increasingly difficult with 2 of the 3 border crossings being destroyed.
Journalist Karim El-Gawhary in Beirut, thank you for the update. Our reporter Gasia Ohanes has reported from Lebanon and is following the latest developments for us. What more can you tell us about the strike, first of all?
So, Ben, state media has now confirmed the deaths. It has published the names of the 3 media workers that were killed. It says they were killed in an Israeli strike. We know that the building was housing at least several journalists from different media outlets who were staying there. And the strike hit in the middle of the night, like you said, with no prior warning. And some of the journalists had even evacuated from other areas, and we know that because they had spoken to local media after fleeing the scene. Another thing that we know about this is that The journalists, two of the journalists who were killed in this attack worked for the Al Mayadeen outlet, as you mentioned, and the media office of that outlet was struck in Beirut, in the southern suburbs of Beirut, this week.
What is Israel saying? I mentioned no comment, but is Israel saying anything at all?
There's been no immediate comment from Israel about this. It has not responded to the accusations, like you mentioned, the Lebanese caretaker prime minister's accusation. It has not made any public comment yet. But in the past, Israel has maintained that it does not deliberately attack journalists.
This has happened time and again throughout, not just in Lebanon, throughout the war in Gaza as well. But tell us more about how Israel handles these situations, because investigations have to be launched.
Yeah, you're right. So in Lebanon, for example, there's been 5 deaths of journalists since October last year, since this war escalated in Lebanon. And the most prominent example of that was the death of Reuters journalist Issam Abdullah. Issam was killed in an Israeli strike, and Israel at the time said it will investigate the incident. And it claimed at the time as well that this incident took place in an active combat area. The UN peacekeepers there launched their own investigations, and they found that there was no active combat in that area for at least 40 minutes when the strike happened. And it's been a year since that strike now, and the Committee to Protect Journalists has said that there's been no accountability in what seems like a, quote, likely targeted strike.
DW's Gasia, Ohanes, thank you very much for bringing us the very latest on those stories developing for us.